Welcome to the Golden Hour, brought to you by Friendship Haven. Together we celebrate life, stories, and connection. Support for this show comes from Fort Dodge Ford, standing by our community every mile of the way. With the support of Fort Dodge Ford, we're proud to share these stories with our community.
We are bombarded with anti-aging messages every day. We do not hear enough about aging well. We happen to have great access to people who are not only aging well, but are doing so with grace, dignity, and humor. Growing older is not about slowing down always. It's about living fully, laughing often, and sharing wisdom. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us for stories from the experts that inspire and uplift. My name is Julie Thorson, and this is The Golden Hour. Today's guest is Pauline Ruebel. And Pauline, we're talking about aging well and successful aging. You're an expert, but in order to be considered an expert, we have to know your age.
I'm 87 and enjoyed every minute of it.
87 and enjoying every minute of it. Well, it's only fair that I tell you how old I am. Do you know? Have we ever talked about this? This is a dangerous game. How old do you think I am?
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s. You're pretty close, 52. I guess that is mid-50s now, isn't it? Oh. When does it become considered mid? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's just jump right in, Pauline, and we're going to start with a really important question. What do you feel like the keys to aging well are?
You have to live your faith with your family and your friends. And you have to put all of that together, and you come up with a really good, positive life.
Faith, family, friends equals positive life.
Yeah.
Let's boil it down. It's that simple, right?
Right. That's right.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Pauline. Tell us a little bit about your background, just so we can get to know you a little better.
Okay. I grew up on a farm at Duncombe, Iowa, and went to the Duncombe Methodist Church, and we lived with my grandma on my dad's side. And I never knew my grandpa. He'd passed on before I was born. Well, then my dad was farming the farm for grandma, and he met my mom, and they got married, and she moved in with them. Well, then I came along, and so that was 3 generations living together, which has always intrigued me because I love Amish stories. And Amish families were so close and integrated and so forth that, and a very strong faith in God. But we were always Duncombe for church. And I also had a youth advisor there that was very good at getting me involved with teaching Sunday school, Bible school, and so forth. And so I really, feel that all developed my faith, but it also takes family. Mm-hmm. And then my grandma died when I was 10, and by that time I had 2 sisters too, and we were all 3 born at home. Well, then later years I had 2 more a brother and a sister. But anyway, we lived on the farm out there. Dad, when Grandma passed, bought the farm, and we lived there.
So you're kind of Duncombe royalty.
Oh, yes.
Is that right? I mean, if we go to Duncombe and say your name, they're going to know who you are.
Yeah.
So then you married Jean, and how old were you when you got married?
21.
21. And how many years were you married?
66 years, and loved every moment of it. We had so enjoyed the years so much and enjoyed doing so many things together.
66 years. That's incredible in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, Pauline, I've worked with older people since 1999. So I've gotten to know a lot of older folks over the years, and I don't know that I've ever met anybody with your spirit and your positive attitude and your just joy for life. And I have to know, I've been wanting to ask you this for so many years. Where does that come from for you?
Well, I think a combination. Gene was that kind of a person too. And he was always a jokester. And he could, I think you've seen some of the jokes he's pulled and talked about. But anyway, we enjoyed life. And you have to play and have fun to enjoy life. Otherwise, you're going to age pretty fast.
Oh, gosh. Say that louder for the people in the back.
You have to play and enjoy life, or you're going to age quickly.
Oh. So 66 years with Gene. Tell me how your relationship changed and evolved over those 66 years.
Well, first of all, the family came along, and we had 3 children. And when we were married, we moved into Jean's grandparents' old house.
Okay.
And it was an old house, but we had so much love and warmth it didn't make any difference. Oh. But anyway, then the 3 kids came along. We had an awful lot of fun with them. I remember one time, and I still have a picture of it in my photo album. I did a lot of photo albums. And the boys, we had 2 boys, and then later Karen came along. And Gene would be laying on the sofa, and they'd try to roll him off. And they just, it was
And Gene
fun.
wasn't a little guy.
No,
we gotta
he
clarify. He was a big guy.
Yeah, he was 6'2". Yeah. So they didn't have much leverage there. But anyway, and then he loved equine, and he had a horse before we were married, and he went to rodeos and things and wild horse races. But anyway, then when the kids came along, we had this pony. And he'd hook the pony to the little red wagon, and they'd get a ride behind the pony in the red wagon.
And I bet your kids will never, ever forget that.
Right.
That was a core memory.
Yes.
So tell me more after the kids are growing up and, your relationship changes as you age. How did you both approach that?
Well, of course, we were, both working. After we were married, Gene says, I want you to be a farm wife and not teach, because I'd gone to junior college and for my teaching certificate. Well, then he got called to service. Uncle Sam called him.
Right.
And says, we want your service. And anyway, he was gone for 2 years, served in Germany. And so then I was able to get my education, and I taught a year. So by teaching a year, then I did not teach until the kids, the youngest, Karen, was in first grade.
Okay.
And then I went back and taught. And so I was teaching and he was farming. But we'd do things together a lot. We'd the summertime. He'd get summer jobs, and sometimes winter jobs because the farm wasn't real busy then. But in the summertime, I remember a time we were spraying fence rows, and I was driving the tractor, and he had the spray hose. All at once he says, "Stop." So I stopped, and there was a wild rose. And he went and picked that wild rose and brought it back to me.
Oh.
And how special that was.
And you remember that.
Oh,
you
yes,
hold on to
I
that
remember
memory.
that.
Yeah.
And I've got to tell you, the day of Jean's funeral, Karen and Terry picked me up to go to the funeral, and Terry, our son-in-law, had something for me. He'd seen a wild rose, and he'd picked it, got out and picked it on the way to pick me up. And I thought that was really, really special.
Yeah, it's those things that mean something that are not about money, but it means something.
Yes.
I want to talk about Jean's funeral because you did something really special. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about your last years with Jean.
He was in Journeys. Well, that's how we got to Friendship Haven, because I could not take care of him anymore. And I'd had compression fractures on my back. And so then when the kids, I was in the hospital, so the kids came out to see if there was room for us and where we could be placed. Well, then I went to health care at Friendship Haven. So the kids took care of all of that and found out he started out in Gardens 1 for about 6 weeks, and then he had to be moved to Journeys. And we still had such an enjoyable time at Journeys because he always knew me and the kids, and I could take old photo albums and this sort of thing over, and he could remember things that we had done, and which was good because then we both enjoyed visiting and talking about them and so forth.
So for people that don't know, Journeys is the neighborhood at Friendship Haven that is a kind of a separate neighborhood for people that are living with Alzheimer's, and you lived in a different apartment, and you walked over
With my walker.
with your walker pretty much every day.
Yes.
I remember some of those winter days. I was a little worried. You get a ride every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not very
Yeah.
often.
But I'd bundle up with my winter coat and my stocking cap, and you probably didn't recognize me with all the...
But you are such a devoted wife. And I want you to just tell a little bit, as we age, people sometimes change at different rates. And how you maneuvered that with such grace and such dignity and such positivity. How were you able to do that? Because that's a really stressful time, but you did it so well. Where did that come from, Pauline?
Well, I think it was our love and devotion for each other. And we'd had such a good life and so many fun things. And he looked forward to me every day. He'd ask some of the nurses, is Pauline here yet? And so forth. And we just enjoyed being with each other and so forth. So
you recognize, though, that some people could feel sorry for themselves or, curse the situation they were in. I don't know that I ever heard you or talked to you and ever felt that from you. And I was just always so
what good is a pity party? You've got to keep that positive attitude. And if you don't keep that positive attitude, you're going to get down. And I just couldn't do that. My life wasn't like that. Our life wasn't like that. Our life was positive. And if I'd get down, Jean would probably get down. But I will say the help at Journeys was so good, too. He enjoyed them. They'd tease him. He'd tease them. And they had a good time together. Not just seeing me, but it became second family to him.
Absolutely. They had some fun. They had there was some laughter.
Yes, always laughter and fun. Yeah.
So for people that are kind of stuck at the pity party and can't get out of it, what is your advice to them, regardless of age? I mean, people in their 20s and 30s or 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that can get stuck at that pity party. So you tell me, how do they get out of it?
Well, for me, it was prayer and talking to God. And God is who got me through this. If I didn't have my prayers every day, and when we were together, when I was with Jean, each day before I left, we said the Lord's Prayer together. And I just think you have to have faith in God, and God will take care of us. And that's so important.
Absolutely. I'm curious, Pauline, as you think about your age and you think about aging and growing older, what do you think is a misconception about growing older, about being in your 80s? What's a misconception that you would like to set the record straight on?
Well, you can do anything you put your mind to it. If you think negatively, you're going to live negatively. And you just have to set your mind on this is going to be a positive day and I'm going to do my best and look at it that way is what I feel anyway.
I love that. That is such great advice. Again, one of the things about this podcast is fun is we're calling it the golden hour. We're talking about aging well, but that, my dear friend, is great advice for any age. At any age. But we do know that things change as we grow older. We have physical changes. Sometimes we have cognitive changes.
Right.
How have you navigated through that over the last, I would say, later years in your life?
I'm not sure anything special comes to mind right now, because we always did fun things. We learned to dance when we were in our mid-50s.
What? What kind of dancing were you doing?
We did ballroom dancing. We took a dance class. We had some good friends that went to Gibbons, Minnesota every summer to the Polka Fest. And one summer they said to us, why don't you go along and just listen to the music? And so we decided we'd go. And when we were there, they overheard Jean say, I'm going to learn to do this. And it was Jean that said it.
You didn't twist his arm? You didn't talk him into it?
No. We took a class, and it was polka, two-step, and so forth. But we loved polka. He caught on very quickly. But for me, a lot of times he had to start counting in my ear to get us going. But we had so much fun with it.
Well, and that helped you physically stay fit and active. It didn't have to necessarily be exercise. It was dancing for you too.
Yes, right.
Oh, I love that. Your relationship was just so special. You could see it when you two looked at each other. There was just something so special there between the two of you. And you honored him in a really unique way. I remember sitting in your apartment and you were telling me about how you honored him at his funeral. And I don't know that I've ever heard a story like this. Would you mind telling us that story?
Well, it kind of starts way back. We were going to horse things and wagon trains and so forth. And I didn't ever ride a horse. I got afraid of a horse when I was in country school. But anyway, Jean always liked him, and I went along with it and so forth. But we had a granddaughter, our first granddaughter, oldest granddaughter, that she loved to ride. And so she rode many, many miles with Jean. And when we'd go on some of those, it was maybe over a long weekend. And I'd go along and help with food. Well, she heard Grandpa say one time, we'd been to a couple funerals where they had hauled the body in a wagon to the cemetery. She had heard Grandpa say this. Well, and Gene had even said that that's what he wanted, because we did pre-planning for our funeral.
Right.
The two of us together. He didn't want to do it, and I says, well, I don't want to do it alone. Do you want to do it alone? No. So let's go do it.
Work it out.
So we did. Well, then our granddaughter and her husband knew this fellow at Sac City that had a beautiful team of work horses, a white carriage, and it carried the coffin, the third part, to the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And so they put his flag draped coffin into the hearse, and then the coach, white coach, carried the pallbearers. And all at once they looked at me and called me over, so I got to ride in the coach also, which was very special to me. And of course the grandkids were pallbearers, so that oldest granddaughter was there too.
Oh, how amazing.
So it was very special. And I can't be sad. I always think back of those things like that and how special it was. And I'm sure that Jean was enjoying it too.
Yes. Oh, I just love that. The idea of it, and that it was special for everyone. And in a way, you're still, creating these incredible memories even after he left us.
Yes.
So how has life been different for you? Being with someone for 66 years is a long time. Mm-hmm. How has life been different for you?
Well, I knew I had to stay busy. Mm. And so I have volunteered for a couple different things. And at the Stop and Shop, a couple afternoons a month. And I play bingo a couple afternoons a week. I go to Woman's Coffee. And you've got to be with people and visit with other people. And you can't just sit and think about yourself. Another thing I like to do is read Amish books. Mm. And I have read quite a few Amish books over the time. But we have activity people that plan lots of activities for us too. And one of them does fingernails. She does.
I was noticing your manicure. Girl, your nails are on fire.
Oh.
They look awesome. So you had them, so you're having the manicures done and all the things.
Yes.
I love it.
But it's not only having the fingernails done, it's visiting with the people that are waiting their turn to have their nails done.
Right. So you're staying socially connected, intellectually connected. You're not just sitting alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
And she also plans tea parties for us.
These tea parties are getting a little out of control. I don't know about these tea parties. There's a lot going on at these tea parties. I love hearing the laughter. I love it.
Yes, and people love hats. We put on hats and so forth. And I found that out, that they love hats, but they don't have hats. So I'm still able to drive a little bit in the summertime, not in the winter.
Right.
But anyway, I went to some thrift shops and got some cheap hats, and I'll decorate them, and then I put them out. And if people want to wear a hat, they're welcome to.
Are you becoming the hat lady, Pauline?
No.
Are you? People are going to watch this and they're going to start sending you hats. We might have more hats than we know what to do with.
Oh. Well, hat started out when I first retired. There was some teachers I worked with that had a red hat group.
Oh, sure.
And so they asked me to join their red hat group, which I did. And we would go around the state, different little tea rooms, and their little shops in little towns, Story City, Ames, Mason City, Webster City. We were all over Jefferson. And anyway, that was, that was fun. We enjoyed that. We visited while we ate, and we did things together.
It's hard to not have fun when you're with you.
Oh.
I think you're always having fun. You have to smile.
Yeah.
So Pauline, every episode we end with a speed round. Okay?
Oh.
So I've been asking everybody these same questions, and this will kind of end our time together, okay? So here's question number 1. What is something today about technology that surprises you?
Oh, the way it's come. I can't begin to keep up with it at all. I have a computer. I can still send.
You just said you can't keep up with it, but you're on the computer.
Yeah.
And you're emailing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're keeping up.
There's a lot of things I can't do. I don't have an iPhone. I have a little flip phone and so forth. So, yeah.
I love that. What is something, okay, this is a good one. I'm kind of curious about this answer. What is something from your teen years that would surprise people? When you were a teenager, what is something that would surprise people?
When we were married, that the messenger called and asked if I would be on the June bride section of the messenger. Back then, they had a section of the paper each June that was June bride.
Oh, and so you were featured.
Yes, so I was featured on it. Well, and Jean was featured in some of it too, but they had all this set up, and we would go to different places. Like we went to bridal shops, and I tried on gowns. They took pictures.
So you were basically a model.
Right? Yeah, I was.
Right? You were a bridal model.
Yes, right. And then we'd go to furniture stores and places to eat, and they always gave you a little gift. We'd get to eat, and so forth.
That was quite the gig you had.
Yes.
Kind of a bridal celebrity.
Yeah.
The Duncombe bride celebrity. I love it. Okay, here's another one. What is something about you today that would surprise people?
I don't know if anything would really surprise them, because that we'll have dress-up days with holidays and stuff, and I'll put on
You do get after it, yeah.
A silly hat or a shirt. Jean and I both had a Grinch shirt.
Yes.
And we'd wear those. Today, for our Christmas picture, I wore my candy cane shirt.
Yeah, you do like to dress up.
Oh, yes.
That is a good one.
But it's fun.
Yeah, just
It's fun.
silly, isn't it?
I got to have fun.
Absolutely. Okay, Pauline, who surprises you? Who surprises you?
I guess I've got to say, I'm surprised at the number of people, not just who, that don't participate in things. That they'll sit in their room, and I know I've invited some for bingo, for church, and they seem to me they're unhappy people. And it surprises me there's that many of them.
Yeah. Not everybody can have your attitude. It's such a gift. It's such a blessing, but it's unfortunate. Were you surprised? Here's the last 2 questions. Were you surprised today? And if so, how were you surprised today?
Surprised today? Well, to get up and to be alive. And first thing I do before I get out of bed is say my prayers and thank God for the day. So I guess I'd have to say that would be, I was still alive and going, and you never know what life is going to be like and when life will end.
Oh, every day is a gift.
That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
My daughter signs that off a lot of times with her work.
Really? Every day is a gift?
It's a gift. Mm-hmm.
All right. This is the last question, Pauline, and it's a good one.
Oh.
It's a doozy.
Uh-oh.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Gee, I don't know if I'd do it any differently. I just enjoy life and you need to enjoy life and play. You've got to play or you get old very, very quickly.
I love you. I just love you. I wish more people really, really believed that the way you do. You're an inspiration, Pauline.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the Golden Hour. It was a delight. And we had some fun.
Yes, we did. We did. We played and had fun.
As we wrap up today's conversation, we're reminded of why this podcast is called the Golden Hour. Just like the golden hour in photography, when the light is softer, warmer, almost magical, and everything seems to glow, aging brings its own kind of brilliance. It's a time when perspective sharpens, humor deepens, and life's beauty shines through. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, may you continue to find light, laughter, and joy in your own golden hours.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.